say hi so we can chat and I can um, say hi and see how you're doing. We got back from vacation and we're getting settled back in, so I am ready to get going with you guys. And I have really, really been loving this watercolor month. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. So yeah, today we're going to finish up watercolor month and do some fun painting. I have 2 paintings in mind. We'll see if we can get through both of them. We'll just see. Hopefully, if you are feeling like being crafty, you can get some watercolor paint and paper out and some brushes and paint with me tonight. Even if you don't want to paint when I'm painting, you can do anything you want and just get creative with me. Hey, Mom, how are you? Thanks for sharing the video. Yeah, I love when you guys share the videos. I really appreciate that a lot. Mom, I know you do it all the time, and a few others do it often as well, and I really do appreciate that. It helps other people to find us and be able to hang out with us and be crafty. It's exciting. Hi, Carol. How are you? Yay. So Renee's here. Hi, Renee. Thanks for joining me, ladies. We are, if you want to paint with me, get a few paintbrushes and some watercolor paints and watercolor paper and a clean empty water. And that's really all you need. I think it would be fun if you painted with me tonight. So let's see. I'm gonna take a drink of water. I don't know if everybody saw, I shared it earlier today off of the watercolor topic, a different topic while we're waiting a moment. I made a project for graphics, and it is a wreath to hang on your door. I made it out of a frame, but I hung it this way just so it was kind of at an angle. I just wanted something different and not the normal circle wreath for the front door. And I painted this. It's just a basic wooden frame. I painted it white and put the gold leafing on there. Can you see the shimmer here? And then all of these flowers, can you see up close? Oh, my top one is jangly. All of these flowers and everything, even this foliage down here. Whoops, where am I? There I am. Even this foliage, which I just drew and cut out freehand. The flowers I did die cut or cut with scissors. And then there's prills inside, and I just shaped them and hot glued them all together. But anyway, all of these flowers and the foliage and everything is made with graphics, matte Duralar and white opaque craft plastic, and the wet media Duralar, which is the clear version. So that's all. And so now, because it's all made with plastic, and I used acrylic paint and Dina Wakley gloss sprays to to put the color on the flowers and the leaves as well, it can be outside, which is pretty awesome. So I love this project. I'm very excited about it. It just came out today, I think today or yesterday maybe, on graphics. So yeah, I just want to make sure you guys saw it because it's super fun. You should go watch the YouTube video. I walk you through all the steps. Here are the flowers individually. I have a few extra pieces, so I'm going to be doing some other social media with those and making other projects just to give you guys other ideas. But it was super fun, super easy. Anybody could do it, and it was really, really a good time. So I just wanted to share that. Okay, let's see. Mom's with me. Okay, you're going to be painting with me. That's exciting. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I saw it. It's beautiful. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Victoria. Oh, Victoria's here. Hi. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure if you didn't see the post, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes the posts don't always get alerts or whatever, like not everybody sees it. Stephanie's here. Hi, Stephanie. So yeah, that wreath was really fun, super easy to make. Even if you were just making these flowers and like you want to make a brooch or like a pin for your hair, wouldn't that be adorable? Or a headband or something. You could even make them smaller. They don't have to be this big. You could do necklaces, like so much stuff. I'm just I get excited about something and then I like gotta run off with it. So anyway, thanks, Stephanie. So, okay, let's get started with watercolor tonight. So I just realized like part of my head is cut off. Oh, that's okay. Sorry about that. So this is week 4 of watercoloring. And I'm just recapping real quick in case we forgot the stuff that happened a few weeks ago. It's been a long and a fast month at the same time, if that's possible. So the first week we talked about different kinds of papers and different kinds of paints and went over all of those details, and it was hopefully it was helpful and informative. Can you show how to do a controlled watercolor bleed? If that doesn't make sense, you can show me next Thursday. I'll try to. I'll show you what I think you're asking, and if that's not what you mean, then let me know and I'll do something else. But I'm sure if you want to know, other people do too. So before we start the project we're going to do tonight, I'll try and do that for you. But anyway, the first week we talked about all the different kinds of paper. There's cold press and hot press and black and white and whatever, and all the different like forms watercolor comes in, which is tons of forms. Oh, I do have a new one here to show you tonight too, so that's exciting. And then the second week we did some techniques. If you remember, we did some wet on wet and glazing. Remember that glazing is really fun. And the salt, did you guys end up seeing the results of the salt? This is what mine did, but your results are different every time. And we did some gradient stuff. And then last week we did black watercolor paper with metallic paint, which was really fun. And you get this beautiful metallic shiny, we did a bouquet here, but you can do anything. So that was super fun too. And hopefully you learned some new things. Maybe you got to use black watercolor paper for the first time. That would be awesome. So this week is the last week. I thought, let's do my favorite thing, but we're going to do it with a twist. So I've got 2 paintings I'm going to try to get through tonight. The first one, we're going to do a night sky. So we've done a galaxy before, but for those of you that didn't do it or haven't seen it, if we have time, I'll do that one second because it's really fun and easy. And I think that everyone can be successful with it. And I love making them. But the first one I want to do is like the Northern Lights or Aurora Borealis, whatever. I want to do that with some like tree silhouettes and just doing a cool night sky. We were just up north last week. We tried to see Northern Lights the night that they said we should. We were out on the beach till like 12:30 and we had fire. It was very lovely. There were a million stars, but we never got to see the colors. So, but it was still a really fun time. But that made me think of it. And I just thought that'll be a fun thing to paint. So we're going to do that. And then if we have time, I'll show you guys the galaxy again too, but we'll see what we get to. Or if there's something else you want me to paint second, I'm good with it. I'm good with whatever you want. So, okay. So let me switch my camera around. How's everyone's week been? So I'm going to show you a couple of things that I've painted in the past that are pretty fun. This is a take on a night sky. We're not going to do this one tonight because if you're following along, I don't want you to have to try to draw the bear, but just know that any shape you want to draw and then paint inside of it is kind of going back to Mom's question about doing a controlled bleed. Really, all I did here was draw the shape of the bear with a pencil, and then I did it my galaxy technique inside that pencil line and made it the way I wanted it, and then added black for the feet and the little trees. And it's important to like dry in between each step, and I'll walk you through that kind of stuff when we do the Northern Lights. And then just added my stars, and that's it. But you could do this in any shape. You know what I mean? If you like wolves or owls or like any kind of wildlife, you could do that. So that's one thing. Another, I did these butterflies. This kind of has a couple things. Reason I'm showing you is because one, it has the bleed here from one to the other because I didn't wait long enough for that to dry, but I really like the look of it, especially over here. It might be a little harder to see it it looks a little pixely on my screen, but if you saw this in person, you'd really be able to see, but there's like a nice little bleed there. But then as you saw before, if you wait till it dries, let's see if I can find one. This one kind of did. If you wait till it dries, do you see how that orange wing is under the yellow wing, but it's kind of translucent? That's almost like glazing. Like I almost let it dry long enough, but not quite. So yeah, but it's nice, you can just sit down and get this one. I would probably use like the biggest round you have, obviously even bigger than this one. Maybe it was this one even. And just point and do your little comma things and go around and make a bunch of butterfly wings. It's just fun and pretty. Okay, can everybody see me and hear me okay? This one is just a sunflower, and it's just working in layers, and this definitely is like bleeding into each other. And then I drew a lotus flower, not a very good one, but it's fun. And tried to do the darker versus the lighter. So honestly though, if you just draw anything with a pencil and then just start painting, you'll be fine. And then here's another black bouquet on the black paper with the metallic paint. So yeah, those are just fun things. So let's start. Oh, Mom wants to do a sunflower. Okay. Okay, let's do the Northern Lights first, and then if everybody wants to, we can do sunflower instead of a galaxy for sure. I have to make sure I have the right paint colors with me, but as long as I do. Okay. So I'm starting with tape, and this is a clear tape, but it is made for watercolor painting. So let's see, am I enough in the middle? Yeah. So it shouldn't bleed, and it should come off easily. Oh yeah, well that's okay. I mean, if other people want to do the sunflower and I have the colors for it, I'm happy to do that. But the sunflower is pretty. It's nice because you can use nice bold bright colors for that too. Sometimes you just got to have some bold colors. And I never ever am able to put these on exactly even to get a nice even border. I just kind of don't care. I try sometimes, but I almost never get it right. So then I just decided, well, who cares? And also, if you're using the block that has the gum on at least two sides, you don't really have to do this. You can just leave it in that book. But I also want to show you other ways you can do it. If you don't have a book like that, then just tape it down to your surface. It's really kind of important to have it taped down to a surface or in a book like that, because when you're doing watercolor painting, especially when you're going to do something like we are, where I'm going to get all of the paper wet, it helps to keep it from curling up while you're trying to paint and do your thing. It just makes it easier for you. And it gives it a nice border when you're done. So okay. Okay, so first thing, I just want to give this a wash. So I'm going to use my 1-inch wash brush, and I'm going to dip it in the water and let it be nice and full of water. And I'm just going to go everywhere. And I usually do 2 passes. It's hard to see, but if you can see your water on the page, that's helpful. But if you can't, it's also okay. Just kind of go over the whole thing like that. Okay. Step 1 complete. Now, if you're doing the galaxy or this, or anything where you want to do a wet on wet or have like a nice wash of color, then you would start by doing that. You could also take your spray bottle and just spray it and then move the water around. Doesn't matter how you get there. You just want a wet surface. Okay. Then we're going to get some paint out. Remind me to show you these later on. Okay. I want to try to at least get this painting done before we do other things. Okay. Ooh, I've got lots of pretty paints in here. Now I do have this one from the other months. I'm wondering if maybe some of these might be good. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to use any of those, but we will see. Let's put these in here. There we go. Okay. So I just like to get all my colors around me close by. I like to have my swatch sets if I have them. I don't have a swatch set for that, but this is just how I kind of set up my space and get ready to work. So the first thing we're going to do is make the Northern Lights swish, you know, and we're going to do green. I've got a nice phthalo yellow green. So we're going to do that, but whatever color Northern Lights you've seen or like, I think they come in different colors, don't they? I think. Anyway, you can do whatever you like. I'm going to go with my bigger round. This is a 14 round, but really you could go 10 or 12, whatever you have. And my brush is loaded with water. Okay. In fact, I'm going to move these over so I can have some space. Oh, my brush is not clean. Hold on. Okay, that's good. Okay, so first thing I want to do is do the lights color. Okay, so we're going to go with the phthalo yellow green. And my brush is really wet, but normally, like I said, I spritz in the palette. I didn't do that this time though. Okay, let me know if you have any questions as we go, or if you want, or if you're going to follow along, if you want me to like repeat something or whatever. Who else is painting with me? So see how I just did kind of like an S, a double S. And it's okay if there's a gap in the middle like I have there, because it will kind of fill itself in eventually. And we want there to be a gradation of color. Man, that's super bright. That's going to be amazing. Okay, so next we're going to go with super dark, like bluish purple. Okay, so hopefully see my water is starting to dry. So it's really important for your water to be wet, but I also talked for a long time and there is some kind of hair on my paper and it's driving me crazy. Oh, well, I guess I have to leave it. Okay. So I'm going to get this side of the paper wet again because I really need it to be wet to do what I want to do. And then I'm going to grab a really dark blue. Let's start here. And I'm going to, I guess I'll just go right to it. Oh, look at it. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh my gosh. Look how it's bleeding in. Ooh, that's really cool. Holy moly. That's so cool. Okay. I am going to put some on this side. I have a ton of this blue on my brush. And even though this other side is pretty well dry at this point, it's okay. I'll show you how it's different. Look at how that is bleeding into the green. Oh my goodness. This blue is insane. It's so beautiful. I don't even want to waste it. Dang it. Okay. Then I really like a little bit of this amethyst. Where are you? Right here. I'm just going to try to pick up a tiny bit because I don't even know if, yeah. I was trying to pick up some amethyst, but this blue is so deep that I don't even know if it's going to let me. So now I'm going to switch back to the wash just for a minute. I'm making a mess here. How are we doing? Oh, Stephanie, you said me. Are you painting with me? Is that what you mean? I'm excited. I'm going to use my flat wash and I'm just going to bring this down and sort of like remake that shape. And it doesn't matter if it's like particularly crisp or whatever. I like that it's kind of blending into the other. No big deal. And notice how that got a lot lighter at the top. We're going to fix that again. But for right now, we're going to let it be. Then I'm going to come back over to this side, or come over to this side and do the same thing. I just want to fill in Whoop, that green is moving. I just want to fill in on the sides of this green and let it sort of blend together a little bit and also do its thing on its own. Okay, so I want it to be a lot lighter at the bottom than at the top. I love that dark. Let's see, let's go back to this brush, and I think I'm going to bring this blue back out here because I really love the dark, the deep richness of that blue. It's almost like an inky kind of blue, and it's pretty amazing. And I want to bring some back to the other side. The darker it is at the top, the better it's going to all look in the end. So really embrace that high contrast from top to bottom. I think you'll really like it. And when we do the galaxy, I say, you know, it's better to have more contrast near the darker color near the edge. It just looks good when you take that tape off and you've got the border there. But for this one, I really like and recommend just having darker at the top, because remember that we're going to have like trees down here, and it's going to be more of a like a gradient kind of sky. Okay, so there we go. How are we doing? Okay, so that looks really pretty. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. The center, I don't mind some overlap there, but I do ultimately want it to stay fairly clean. Like, I don't want that green to get too muddied up. So I am going to pick up a little bit because there's a little extra water up here. Okay, I'm just picking up a little bit of the excess. I like that. Okay, now down at the bottom, I think, oh my goodness, these brushes are driving me crazy. Here we go. I think I want to have a little bit of a more like turquoisey, bluish green at the bottom. Let's see what I can do with that. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I'm in love. It's so pretty. And I'm just letting it be a wash. And see how this tape is on here? And I don't know if you can tell, but my paper is still kind of wrinkling. So imagine if I didn't have the tape on here. How's everybody doing? Is this fun? Are you doing the same thing as me? Or are you doing something different? Let me know how it's going. Okay, I do like having a little bit of that more turquoisey color at the bottom. Just offers a nice gradient. Okay, so there we go. I like this. So far, so good. I think I'm going to dry this where it is. When you're working with watercolor and you want to switch, or you want to like layer things on top of each other, like put something else on top of this or around it, it's important to have the paper dry before you move to the next step, or you're just going to get a muddy mess. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the way this is turning out. I might close the gap of that green just a tiny bit because there's a lot of white space there, more than I want. Here we go. There we go. I just want it to be lighter in the middle, I think, more than having any kind of white space. I just wanted it to have, I've got a really washed out brush here. Okay. And there we go. And I'm just going to let it be lighter. Not totally stark white, but lighter. I think I like that better. Okay, let's see. I always copy the master. I just realized you don't change your water after every color. Cool beans. I always get new after every color. Oh no, you mean my dirty water? No, I don't. I probably let my water go longer than I ought to, but that's just me. I'm, you know, if you have that water, shoot, I saw something here and I gotta fix it, but then it's already starting to dry. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, especially because I'm working with all cool colors here. It, you know, as long as your brush, like when I tap it on my paper here, on my paper towel, as long as it's coming off clean and you're able to pick up another color and keep going and have it be clean, then you're fine. But there is a certain point where you just have to clean the water. That's why I got that. I didn't bring it down this time, but that's why I got that one brush water tub thing that you just press the button and the new water comes out. That's pretty handy. I like it. Okay. Second, let me just check this part. So the next thing we're gonna do the trees. Excuse me. We're gonna do trees down here. So this part has to be dry to move on. I'm even gonna wipe the water away from the paint. Okay. How are we doing so far? Anybody that's doing the same thing as me, are you ready for the next step? Okay, this is pretty good and dry. And like I said, it's important to be dry because if this was wet, we saw what happened when we did wet on wet. It just bleeds right into the other and it can make a mushy mess. But if you're nice and dry, you can paint over top of this as long as you don't work it too much. And it won't bleed and you'll have success. Can you guys still see me? Okay. Oh, Stephanie and Mom both say yes. Okay, so we're ready to move on. Let me put this away some more table room. Okay, for the next thing, I'm going to use a couple different brushes, but you just use what you have. Don't ever feel like you have to be using the same thing. I'm going to use a round 2, which is pretty small. It's almost like a detail brush, but not quite that small. And I'm actually going to use my wash 1 because I want to show you a couple different ways that you can make trees. You can even use, like if you have a smaller round, this is a round 8 or even a 6, you can use this. You honestly could use almost any brush and just get, what's my word? Get creative with how you're using it. So, okay. So I'm starting with a wet brush. I'm going to tap it off so it's damp but not overly wet. And then I'm going to actually spray into the color I want to use. I think I'm going with black tourmaline to start. It's not a super deep black, but I don't really have a super deep black, but I think this will be okay. So I am just working this paint so I want it to be fairly opaque. But it doesn't have to be completely opaque. We're just drawing tree silhouettes, so it's not a big deal. Lindsay's here. Hi, Lindsay. How are you? We are making watercolor Northern Lights skies tonight. So that's what we're working on right now. So I'm going to make a tree, and honestly, trees can be wonky and crazy in any kind of style that you want. If you look at real trees in life, you can find them all different ways. So you're just going to make a trunk. And then, I know, right? It was lovely to see you. Is Layla around? If she is, hi, Layla. I miss you. If not, let her know I said hi. Okay. And then with the smaller brush, you really can have control over what you do. So sometimes I like to hold it straight up and just do like almost crazy lines. Make sure you got a good amount of paint on your brush, but you can just keep going back. And, these are silhouettes, so they can be whatever they need to be, as long as, generally speaking, and this isn't even an all the time thing, but generally speaking, as long as you're starting more narrow at the top and getting wider at the bottom, and you sort of have like a triangle-ish type thing, that's a tree, and it can have a ton of branches and needles and stuff, or it can be just like almost a stick with just a couple little pieces hanging out. It doesn't really matter, just whatever looks good to you. So just make sure you're kind of, doing some of them at a little bit of an angle so that you have the perspective. Here we go. That's not a great one, but you never know. Trees can be all sorts of ways. Okay, let's do another one here and do some that are shorter and some that are taller. This is a fun time to just sort of experiment because honestly, that's all we're doing here anyway, right? We're just practicing and playing, figuring out how to make the sky and how to do the trees. And when you feel like your brush is getting too dry, just dip it back in the water. I feel like this black isn't quite black enough, but that's okay. Okay, so there's a couple trees so far. And again, too, it is just a silhouette of a tree. So, and it's nature, and nature comes in all different kinds of crazy ways. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Oh, I'm gonna use the other brush to show you another way. So this is a super wide fat brush, but I actually kind of like using this the most because I feel like I have even more control, if that's possible, with this one. So this is a really small opening here in my half pan, but I'm just gonna kind of smush my brush in there so I can get a good amount of paint on the end of it. And then I'm going to start on this side and do another big tree. Let's see. I'm going to have it angle in a little bit. So I'm just using the very edge. Sorry. I'm using the very edge. I made like a slanted angle branch or trunk there, okay? And then I'm going to use the tip of my brush at the top because I really just need some smaller branches there. I need more paint. Okay. And then I'm just doing like tapping. You can tap on the side and get smaller branches. You can tap straight and get wider branches. And then you can do it as many times as you want. So it's as dense or as loose as you want it to be. So I really like doing this. It's, oh, I went a little wide at the top because I was getting excited. I don't know. It's just really fun. So there's that kind of tree. Totally different, but fun. So how's everybody doing with your trees? Are you making trees? Or are you doing something else? What's going on? Talk to me. I'm going to do a really sparse tree. I'm still going to use this bigger brush. I'm just going to use the end of one of the tips. And if you space it out and just do a couple little things here and there, you can make one really sparse. I can't wait to see your guys' stuff. I'm so excited. So at this point, you just are going to make a bunch of trees, and some of them are going to be shorter. Need more paint here. Actually, I wonder if I use a different color. That might be fun too. And then you can make the branches go up. And you can always layer them. You can make them go. That looks cool. I love it because there's no wrong way to do it, and that makes me happy. Okay, let me rinse this, and I want to get a different color and see how I like that. Just to have a little variation, as long as it's a really dark color. It could be a dark purple, it could be a dark brown, or black or dark gray. It's fine. Let's see. Using a fan brush. Oh, that's a great idea, Mom. I can't wait to see that. That's a really good idea. Fan brushes are fun. Stephanie says mine are abstract trees. That's great. Mom, her too. That's great. I can't wait to see your abstract trees. I'm really excited about this. I hope you're having fun with it because that's the goal. That's all that really matters. Okay, so this is a lot lighter of a purple, which is pretty, really pretty. Okay. I like to layer them up too, so I'll do like flat like this, just do a line, and then I'll go over it a couple times. It makes it look more dense and more, you know, like there's a lot more of them. And you could even mix colors. Like, so I started with like a deep purple. It just makes it look farther back or closer up, you know, depending on how dense the color is. That's pretty. Okay. So now let's do one or two more in this area and we can be done. I think you guys are getting the idea here. Hopefully this is fun for you. I'm going to use a different brush. Let's use a round 8. I always start with a wet brush for this. I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. It's just how I'm doing it. I'm going to even try another different purple. This is like a super dark purple. So we'll see how it looks. So what do I want here? I want this one to be closer to this other side. Oh, my brush is not wet enough. Here we go. Do you see what happened there to me? Probably not. You're painting your own trees. But like I went to take my stroke to make the trunk and it looked like splotchy and not like a solid line. And that's just because my brush was too dry. So if you wet your brush a little bit, you'll be fine. Okay. And I like to try the different colors and different shades of stuff just to see what's going to work for me. And I liked using this thicker one too because it gives me, I can like do it really light and get thin wispy lines, or I can press down harder and get thicker lines, and that's pretty fun too. It's just really honestly all about variation. I think that's what I'm trying to say here. Not very well. Just having the variation and being like allowing yourself to play with it is going to be great. All right, let's see. Almost done. Hopefully you guys are having fun with this. And then we'll go back to this one. I think I'm going to overlay this one a little bit and make it darker. I like having that purple underneath. Adds a little extra something. And I generally too, I didn't say this yet, but when I'm making these trees, I'm generally coming out from center. So I'm not like going into the trunk. I started the trunk and work and like feather my way out. Thinner, thicker, doesn't matter. But that generally looks a little bit more realistic. Okay, that tree's fine. I'm gonna do a little tiny tree over here. Let's see. Just a little stick of a tree. Maybe part of it fell down or something. You see all kinds of crazy stuff in the woods, right? Okay. All right. I think that's pretty good. Probably could just do one more little one over there. My brush was not very wet though. So let me get more water and just do a thin little guy right here and let it be sparse. Okay. I think we're good. How are we doing? All right. So now we're going to dry it again. We're almost done actually. Oh, I didn't use any of these guys. Let me shut this for a minute because it's big and it's kind of in my way at the moment. But there's some really cool like shimmery colors. I wonder, what if I use this white iridescent one in there? Let me just see what happens. That could be really cool. Okay. All right, so first I'm gonna need to spray it because it's super dry. And I'm just gonna let that sit there for a minute. What is my next step? Oh, okay, so after you're done with your trees and you, thought I saw a moth, and you dry them, then you're gonna want some white opaque paint. I'm using my acrylic ink, but you could use white acrylic paint, any kind of acrylic paint. Let's see, I have a question. Can I add a little yellow to my green to make it lighter if the green is dry? Yeah. So watercolor paint is able to be reactivated when it's wet. So you definitely could, or even if you just want to layer it over top. I'm about to layer some of this iridescent stuff over my green to give it some like pearly, shimmery kind of look. So yeah, you definitely can. Your work isn't done until you're done with it. You can always re-wet it and add stuff to it. So yeah. Okay. All right, let's see. First, I'm going to try this. Oh my gosh, it's like iridescent goodness. It's so pretty. Okay, and I don't even know if you'll be able to see it right now or if I can even see it, but we're going to try. It's just like, can you see on the end of my brush that purpley? It's just like that iridescentness. So I'm going to put a bit on because I don't even know. Oh yeah. Oh, you can see it when it dries, you'll be able to see it. And when I tilt the thing. Oops. See, I'm going down into my trees that are still wet. And that's not good. There we go. Okay. So it's super subtle. Maybe I'm going to try some of this bluish purple. It's also got shimmer in it. And maybe put some of that into the sky. What do you think? Ooh. I'll keep it near the top though, because that's the darker area. This is just like adding extra love, you know. And even, you know, if you don't have shimmer paints, you're fine. You're totally fine. Doesn't matter. Just playing and experimenting a little bit. I should have actually done it in the beginning. I kind of forgot to do it though. But you can see my watercolor is reactivating. Okay. A little bit more on this side because why not? You're gorgeous. All right, so now where there's that separation, I'm just using a wet, clean brush with no paint on it, and I'm just gonna kind of blend it back out together. And it will dry fine. It'll dry, it'll look okay. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, so now we have to dry this for sure. Let's just move those aside. And then we are gonna add stars, all right? Actually, while I'm drying this, I'm going to look through and see if I have colors that I can use to do a quick sunflower with you guys instead of doing another sky. That would be fun. Oh, I think I do actually. I've got some quinacridone gold, which would be nice with the burnt orange. It'll just be like a burnt orangey with a little yellow. I can definitely do that if you guys want to do that. And then I've got some brown to do the middle. So yeah. We'll do a quick sunflower, okay? As soon as we're done with this one. You just really want to make sure, especially for this last step, that you're dry. Okay, I think I'm just about there. Just these corners are a tiny bit wet. Oh man, adding that iridescent stuff and that the purple and I think the stuff in here really like took it up to the next level. Ooh, I'm excited. Okay. Last step. I'm going to shut this because we're about to make a mess. Okay, I've got my acrylic ink. Again, you can use any kind of white acrylic paint or bleed proof white from, oh, I forget who makes it, but any opaque white paint will do. Okay. And let's see, I'm going to use this brush. No, I'm not. I'm going to use a smaller brush. And I'm going to pick up, oh no, what am I thinking? I don't want to do this. Silly Cassie. Just a minute. I think I showed you last week, but in case you weren't there or you want a reminder. Are the iridescent paints labeled shimmer when you buy them? Not necessarily. The ones that I have here, they just have a name. Like this one is called Prism. That's not the one I just used. The one I just used called Fairy Dust. But usually in the description, those are individual colors that I bought that were that are like handmade. So artists will sell them on Etsy. And that lady, I think I've talked about her before with you guys. Her shop is called Hydrocolor, and she makes amazing watercolor paints. And hers are sold like usually individually. So, but she would probably tell you in the description of whatever it is. Okay, so you're gonna get an old toothbrush, some really loose paint. If you're using regular acrylic paint, I would spritz it with water and make it nice and loose, almost liquidy, okay? And then you're just going to use your finger. So you're gonna get dirty, no big deal. And you're just going to flick all over. And I'm telling you, you think, oh, that's too many stars. It's not. It's really not. Now, if you want to cover your trees so they don't get stars on them, you can do that. But you also don't have to. Especially up in the darker areas, it's really nice to have a lot of stars. So then when you're happy with your stars, I think I'm pretty happy with that. I'll use my apron here. Where is, okay, I'll use this. I thought I had another paper towel. I'm just trying to clean up my mess as we go here. Okay, so now we are ready to take the tape off and reveal our final piece. I'm excited. This is so fun. I haven't actually done a Northern Lights painting before, so I'm pretty excited about this. Okay. How'd everybody do? Are you painting Northern Lights or something else? If you're painting something else, what are you painting? Talk to me. Tell me all about it. Okay, here we go. Close up. My crazy trees. Look at the stars. Might be hard to see. But look at, I'm also, oh, look at when I tilt it right there, when I get my finger out of the way, you're going to see that purple. And in real life, it's like, oh, look at shimmery purple. Ooh, pretty. Ooh, you can see the iridescence in the green too. It just makes it more like mystical, kind of. Really pretty. I like the way this turned out. I'm really kind of loving it. So pretty beautiful. Thank you, ladies. Okay, well, we've got one more piece of watercolor paper here. So we are going to use it to make a sunflower. Okay, so we'll do it real quick. I'm going to use new tape because that has other colors on it and they're going to get contaminated. So let's just grab some new tape and I'm going to tape this up and then we'll start. So you're going to want to get a pencil if you're going to do this sunflower with me, just so we can draw it out really quick. And, you know, if you don't want to do a sunflower, you can do any kind of flower. If you want to paint with us and do flowers, you can do birds or bees or butterflies or anything that serves as a bee, apparently. Anything you found in nature recently that was inspiring for you? I think we've got time for one more quick painting. This one won't take too long. I'll try not to talk as much and gab about all the things because that makes it take longer, doesn't it? Okay. Don't forget, if you're in Craft Menagerie, excuse me, we're meeting tomorrow for round 2 since I was on vacation last week and we didn't get to meet last week. So if you're able to come tomorrow night, come hang out and we will work on round 2 of abstracts, which is going to be amazing. Okay, I've got my tape. This time we're not going to get it wet all over first. What kind of tape am I using? Well, this is actually watercolor tape, but I would say you could use any kind of masking tape or any kind of painter's tape would work just fine. This one I bought because I wanted to try it out and see how different it was from like a regular painter's tape. So yeah, but anything like that will work fine. As long as, you know, as long as the I do kind of need new water now. As long as the tape is not going to rip your paper after, but also is going to give you a nice barrier and won't let the paint get underneath, then that should work fine. And either of those will do. Let's see. I have a plan. I have this here from my old stuff. I wonder if I can dump this in here. This is me getting crafty. Ooh, that's dirty in the bottom. Hold on. I'm going all sorts of what is that? MacGyver on us right now. I'm cleaning. This is me not getting up and going to the sink because it's far away and I'm with you. I will do it after. It's mostly clean. Now I'm going to use my water that I'm drinking. And there's a little bit of white stuff in there. It'll be fine. That's mostly new water. And that's how I roll. Okay, so we're good. Let's get a pencil. And did you like the one like off to the side kind of? You want to do it like that maybe? So when you're going to do a sunflower, it has like that big center. And really all you have to do for that is just, for doing it off to the side, is make like a nice quarter circle here. Okay. And I will teach you how to like fill it in and make it look more like a sunflower. And then sunflower petals are super easy. So you're just going to decide how far out you want them to go. And you're going to like, can you see my drawing? I don't want to, you do that all the time. Thank you, Carol. That makes me feel better. I'm going to draw on some other paper. I'm sure you can't see my pencil drawing here, but I really want you to be drawing lightly on your paper so that the pencil lines aren't going to stand out too much when you go to paint it. But just for the sake of you being able to see what I'm doing, okay, here, I'll use this whole big piece and pretend it's the smaller piece and use this pen so you can see kind of what I'm doing. So I do a quarter circle. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, whatever, it's fine. It's just a fun little painting. And then I start at the corner, but you can start in the middle. You can start anywhere you want. We're going to layer up a bunch of petals. But the way that sunflower petals generally work, they're kind of long and skinny, but they have a nice point-ish, not a super hard point. And then they come back down. Okay. So really, you're just going to do that a bunch. And all the petals can be different. And remember, this is like it's a little more pointy than that. This is a sketch. So whatever you sketch, like if you're like, oh, I don't like that petal, that looks really stupid, whatever, then it doesn't matter, because when you go to paint it, you get to decide how it ends up getting painted. So I'm going all the way to the edge. My petal edges are, they're coming up. I've got them all over. I can even overlap in the front. We're just making like a general guide for ourselves. Okay. Can you see what that is? So that is kind of what you want to do. Hopefully that helps you. So I'm going to do that same thing on this piece of paper right here. Okay. But you just won't be able to see it very well. And it also is kind of nice when you're just doing a quick sketch onto paper that you're going to paint later, whether it's like, no matter what kind of paint you're using. It's nice to kind of hold your pencil near the end so that you get a lot looser, easier kind of sketch. When you hold it down here, it's very controlled and specific and, whatever. But if you hold it back here and you just kind of like, we're just making outlines. We're making outlines of where we want petals to be. And as I go, I'm like, oh, that one's, going too far out or not far enough. That one's too fat, too skinny, whatever. Oh, I don't like that point. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. And then just make sure you're layering up, putting some behind, whatever feels good for you. Yeah, that's it. And then when you're happy and ready, and you've got a few layers of petals, let me know, and then we'll move on, okay? And I swear we can paint this in like 10, 15 minutes. I am going to leave, well, let's put this away because I will make a mess. Flowers are also a really fun way to practice because you can't screw up flowers, you know? I mean, they're just so fun and easy. Is everybody okay if I move this out of the way? Oh, Mom's ready. Okay, good. I'm going to move this out of the way, but if you want me to bring the sketch back over so you can have it for reference, then let me know and I will do that for you. Okay, just trying to make room here because, of course, everything is everywhere. All right. Come on, here we go. Okay, that works. No, it doesn't. That's going to be in the way. See, now my paper is sideways. So, all right, I'll deal with it. Actually, why don't I do this? Sorry, guys. 1 second. I'll figure it out eventually by the time we're done, right? All right. I need I'm just going to use the other side. Relatively clean cloth. Starting fresh. You should have clean water, probably. Not quite as crazy as me. Okay, here we go. So I would start with the just like a wash of the center. So I'm going to use like a medium round brush. It's probably going to have some iridescence on it because that is iridescent water. And we're going to go with a brown. I'm using like almost like a reddish brown here, but that's just because this is what I have. But I would even whoa, that's way darker than I thought it was going to be. Holy moly, that's gorgeous. Okay. Wow, this is some new paint that I got, and I guess, but it looks way different. Oh, no, it's not. I just picked the wrong color, but this is beautiful. So we're going to go with it. You just want a base anyway. We're going to do something over top of this. I think I am actually going to go back over it with the other color I was thinking of. This is beautiful, but it's a little too dark and cool to be what I want. This is the one I want. I was looking at my color palette thing the wrong way. This is a little bit more reddish brown, but this is going to be a nice blend. But again, there you go. You can use any kind of brown you want. And don't worry about what it looks like because we're just doing this because we want like a filled in layer, and then we're going to do something over the top of it when it dries. So don't even worry if it looks funky or whatever. Just get a base layer down of some kind of brown, you know, medium to darkish, more on the medium side. Okay, I'm going to just keep going. If I'm going too fast and you really want to follow along, just say, hey, you know, hold up a minute, let me catch up, and I will slow down for you. All right, I'm going to keep going with this medium round. It's a 10. I would say even an 8 would be fine, but we're just doing a fun wash here. So I like to start with the lightest color and build my color up. That's how I do it. I don't know if that's the official professional way that watercolor artists work. I am not a watercolor artist. I just like to do it. So this is what I do. And again, those lines I made are just kind of suggestions. You don't have to follow them directly. So all I'm doing now is going over all of the petals that I made with my yellow. Okay, so all my petals, I'm starting with yellow or whatever your lightest color. If you're making a magenta and fuchsia sunflower, thank you. I can't wait to see it. Please share. But start with your lightest pink then. Whatever color you're doing is amazing, and I can't wait to see it, and start with the lightest one. And those are the only rules I would say at this point. Okay. So I can even just take this yellow and go right around the edge of the brown. You don't want it to bleed too much. So part of me says dry that brown first, and that will keep it from bleeding. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to show you the controlled bleed, Ma. Shoot, maybe. Let me see if I can remember to do it right after we're done with this. I do want to show you, or what I think you're asking it about. Okay. If not, I guess we can do it another time too. Okay. Looks pretty good to me. We can do it Thursday. Sure. Oh, sure, we could. Yep. Okay, so this is my first layer. It just looks like yellow mush right now. There's no definition. There's nothing going on. All right, so then I think I'm gonna, let's see, do I want to do that? Yeah, I might just try the next brush size down. Just gonna play and try it. While this is still kind of wet, some of it's starting to dry a little bit, but that's okay. I'm gonna go in with my medium colors. So if you're just doing like light and dark, light and medium, that's fine. Just get your next darkest color. Even if that's the only next, like, you know, you don't have a darker one than that, that's okay. And then we're going to start to define these petals a little bit. I kind of have a controlled bleed here. I mean, there's a little bit of bleeding occurring. Mainly, it's a wet on wet process. So that petal is, so I have petals overlapping. So this is where you want to start to think like, okay, this petal is underneath that one. So I wouldn't be able to see that other thing, but there should be definition around the edge of that other petal. So you can really start to give each petal definition from the other one, if that makes sense. So they have distinction between them. And this is why I've gone with a slightly lighter brush. You do want to keep it pretty well watered, but I guess not too much, because then it will just become a blurby mess too. So you want to have like a medium amount of water, light to medium, I would say. But if you're like, I'm not sure about that, and I don't feel like I have good control, start with less water and then add more as needed, because it's a lot easier to add more water than it is to take away. Okay. Let's see. And really, we're just making some shadows here, right? And notice I'm still, I don't have a lot of good definition here. Still kind of a blurby mess, but it will work itself out by the end. We're just working on bringing out all of the shading. If you're only working with 2 colors and you don't have a third color, then I would recommend your medium color that you're using now, to use it on the light end of it, like to water it down or wash it down a bit, and then use it on the darker end for the next step. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know and I can try to explain differently. Like on this layer, you would want to really wash it down, and then on the next layer, use it with less water so it's a little bit deeper of that same color. Maybe that helps. And notice I'm just going across one side of each petal. All right, so now I'm going to bleed it out a little bit. So now in this step, I'm just taking water on my brush, patting it on the paper towel a little bit, and then going to the edge of whatever that second color I have to get rid of that hard line. That's what we're doing. We're just making sort of like a gradient and blending it out a little bit, because even if your watercolor has dried, you can still reactivate it and get a nice little blend there. So we can start to get we're starting to get some definition here, right? Can you see that? All right. And just with each petal, I do the same thing. And notice where I'm holding my brush at the end. Okay, because I want nice and loose, nice and loose. I don't want it controlled. I don't want it overly processed. I just want nice and loose and a little bit of water. And this is a good time. Like down here, I feel like there's not quite enough color. So you're never done until you're done, right? So I'm just going to bring a little bit more. Grab some more of that color, bring it in. Okay. All right, and then get my brush wet, nice and loose, feather it out. Does that make sense? Everybody good? Let me know. Feather it out. Oh, I've got one more. I totally forgot a whole petal here. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so there's step 2. Now, step 3 is getting your darkest color, if you have one, for the petals. Okay, so mine is going to be like a burnt orange. Now this, we're going to start at the base of the petal. Okay, let's just start in the middle here. Oh, that's pretty. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. So I'm going to cover the whole base of the petal, and then I'm going to overlap a little bit where we put that medium color. Okay, so the light is going to always stay light, but now this darkest color is really going to bring in a little bit more definition. And I wish it was a little darker even. Well, let's just keep going and see how it works out. Maybe it'll be okay. I could probably just do a second layer too. So again, here I'm going the full base. Oh my God, I love this color. So pretty. And then I'm kind of making almost like a triangle. Can you see? Where I'm going the whole base and then just up a little bit on the side that you added that medium color. And so if you're working with just 2 colors, this is the point where you would take the second color or the darker color you're using and don't dilute it, and just use it as true and as dark as you can. If you're like, that's not really working for me, take your color, your second color, your darker color, and mix a little bit of gray or black or brown in it. Well, gray or black, but depending on what color it is. If I'm assuming you're working with like oranges and yellows and stuff, but you can do that also, and that will help. And if you're doing that, just use a tiny bit. That's all you need, is a tiny bit. Okay, so just keep working this around. The bigger petals, obviously you'll have a little bit more going on, and don't worry about those hard lines, because we're going to do the same thing we did before when we get there. The beautiful thing about watercolor too, I think, is that it's very forgiving, and you can just keep reworking it until you're happy. How are we doing? All right. Let me know if you have questions or you want me to explain something again. But see, every time I'm kind of making like a loose triangle, really. Okay. Oops, I got one more right here. And for petals that are more in the background and just like a little sliver is showing through, just put a little bit of this color here. All right. Okay, so now I've done all that. So now I'm going back through with just a wet brush, very loose, got my finger at the end of it, and I'm just going to start at one end and work my way down. Not a ton of water. I can really dilute it here. Let me get a little bit more color here because I put a little too much water on that one. Here we go. Okay. Too much water again. There we go. Actually, that looks pretty good. All right. And just go down the line. Create a nice little gradient. Get rid of the hard lines. Keep it really loose. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I lose some of that deep color at the base. So I'll just go and add some more back in. No big deal. And if you find like sometimes I will put too much of a color or shade, somewhere, just grab a paper towel and lift it. Watercolor is so forgiving and so easy and fun. It's just really, really fun. Hopefully you're having fun. You guys are quiet, but hopefully that means that you're working and painting, so you can't comment. Okay. Oops, I totally forgot some paint up here. This is a petal that's hiding. Oh, here's another thing I just did, and I never explained it before, but it's a really fun, easy technique. If you have a pretty wet brush, I would say like medium wet, and you want to just dump a little bit of color somewhere, just take like the tiniest bit and just kind of dot it. If your surface is already wet, just put little dots, and when it dries, it will just have that like mottled look to it. It's super pretty and fun. Okay. How are we doing? Is everybody okay? I know I'm a little over on time, but I really kind of wanted to show you something different and fun. And you guys seem to like this flower, so we really are almost done. I'm going to finish these petals, and then I'm going to show you the center, and then we'll be done. Okay. Here we go. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I love this burnt orange with these lighter gold and yellow colors. It's so striking. This would be really pretty with turquoise too. Ooh, you could do a turquoise background. That would be super pretty. Okay, so just getting rid of hard lines. All right. How's everybody? Are we good? Okay, last step, once you get through your petals, is we're going to add some texture to this center. Now, mine's pretty dry, but I'm just going to give it a quick zap to make sure. And this last step is super duper easy. Okay, mom's good. All right. So you can have, let's see, I'll go this medium sized brush. You want this brush to be kind of dry. Let's see. I know I just got it wet. I'm going to make sure it was clean, but I'm going to kind of like pat it dry. My paper towel is super wet. So my brush is wet. Okay. But it's not like dripping wet. But I am going to put some water into the brown that I'm going to use to go over the top of this. What brown am I going to use? Well, we're going to probably do a combination of two browns. You want dark brown for this. I'm going to start with this and see how it goes. And then we'll go from there. So, sunflowers have the seeds, and they have all the little pits in the center. So the way that I do it, I don't know, again, I'm not a professional in any way, obviously, but the way I like to do it just to create that texture is I use, this round brush here, have it be kind of dry, get your paint loaded up on the end, and then just kind of pounce. And you can pounce some darker, some deeper, some lighter. Okay. And then go all over, rejuice it, keep going. You can also, on the edges where you want a little bit more texture too, you can take that point and you can kind of let me go over here so you can see it better. You can give it a point. So on the edge, it looks like those little seed things hanging out. But you really want this part to be a lot darker and deeper. It just, the contrast really does make it look really amazing. So you can pounce like this if you've got a big area, or you can just keep going. I'm trying to do this left-handed. Let's see if I can. Or you can just keep layering up this way and have a repeating pattern like that. It's really hard to do sideways like this. Just keep your brush fairly dry so that you have good opacity on your paint. And it's best if you use a paint that's not too translucent either. Okay. So doing those straight up and down dots is nice when you just have to fill in a lot of space. But if you want to create this fun kind of pattern here, this repeating like radial pattern, then you just keep going around in your half circle. This is a round brush. It's a round 10. But again, lots of different choices for brushes. Don't feel like you have to use what I'm using. This color is outstanding. What is this color? Bloodstone. This is Bloodstone from Daniel Smith, but probably other brands make it too. I am going to get a little tiny bit of water on my brush. Sometimes it helps if it feels like it's not laying down quite right. You just need a little bit more hydration on your brush. Okay, so that's it. I'm just finishing up my circle here, and then I will take it off of the tape and show you up close. Let me know what you think about this. Was this fun for you? Do you like the night sky? Do you like the sunflower? Do you want to paint other things? We can do more watercolor paintings doing other things sometime if you like. I think real quick, I am going to just do this background because it just makes it pop so much more. And I'm going to use my long round. And I really think I need to do like a phthalo turquoise because that's going to be, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. Okay, let's actually mix colors. I've got phthalo turquoise, which I'm just going to start to put down. Look at that, contrast is crazy. Okay, this is nice. I like the long round because I can get some good control around the edge of the petals. And if you're going to paint your background like this, I highly recommend, well, I would definitely make sure to have your petals nice and dry so you don't get the bleed. Okay. This is just using the leftover even. Look at how crazy this color is. I do really want to kind of mix it with a little bit of a lighter, like teal, or I mean like a turquoisey color. Give it some gradation. We'll see. 1 second. It's only taking a second, and I just think it's going to look really amazing. So sorry, bear with me one more minute. A little bit more water. But now that I said a fuchsia sunflower, I kind of feel like I need to make one of those. What do you think? Maybe I'll do that later and share it online. I love the texture of watercolor paper. I think, you know, after playing with the different kinds of papers and stuff, I think I do actually like cold press just a little bit better because I think the texture, at least for me, sometimes just adds a little bit extra like personality to it. I don't know. I could see opportunities where having a, oh, that's very wet. Hold on, sorry. Here we go. Having no texture would be beneficial, but I think just generally speaking, having that texture makes me feel like it's a watercolor, you know, just this, I guess, what I'm used to over time. So there we go. All right, let me add a little bit more. I don't even know if it's going to make a difference now, but ooh, that's a lot. Oh, so pretty. Oh my gosh, so pretty. How are we doing? Are we okay? Oh, that is so pretty. I'm going to make some for card fronts. Yay, that's a great idea. But see how adding that turquoise and that pop, one, it helps the sunflower really stand out from the background. And two, it's just gorgeous and striking. Yeah, you can't even see it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to be good with this, and we're going to peel this back and check it out. I love the turquoise. Oh my gosh. So that turquoise is, let me just double check so I give you the right thing. It's phthalo turquoise, precisely. Okay, so there we go. Sorry, we went over a little bit, but man, I get going with watercolor stuff, and it's just so fun. I can't help myself. So there it is. All right, peeling. Oh, this ripped my paper a little bit. That's okay. So if that happens, I was just kind of in a hurry, but I thought this this tape actually was supposed to not rip my paper. So I'm a little concerned about that. But if that happens, you can just heat it with a heat gun, and it will it will prevent that from happening. Okay, let's get that. There we go. There's our sunflower. Woohoo! Turned out pretty. I like the way I did the seeds there, or the center, and that brown color is really, really pretty. So, okay, I can't wait to see your flowers and your night sky. Here's both of our paintings from tonight. Honestly, we did both of these with a lot of talking and chatting and stuff, on my part anyway. But really, and these are just like half sheets of watercolor paper. So think of, just search online, go to Pinterest and find something that you like and draw it out and just start painting and see where it takes you. It's super duper fun. I'm not going to spend any time on these, but I really did want to show you these. Oh, I think I have to open them all at once. Yeah. These are watercolor sticks. So if I just move this out of the way, if I just, like, I can just take this directly to paper and color like a crayon or whatever. This one is quinacridone gold, which we used on there. So I could draw on here, right? And then pull the color out with paint, with a paintbrush. Real quick, I just do this. And then you can pull the color out like that. You can let some of it stay sketchy, which looks really cool. Or you can just draw it all out, you know, and paint. But I didn't show you that before. I didn't have them until recently. I saw them when I was looking for some other colors. But look, it's kind of cool. It's just a fun other way to do watercolor. And I like that you can leave some of the sketchy lines there to make it look a little bit more, I don't know, artsy, you know, sketchy, hand drawn. So these are, yeah, they are. They are kind of, yeah, they're basically watercolor crayons. Yeah. These are Daniel Smith also. I'm just getting into their version of stuff. But anyway, there we go. We did it. Holy moly. We went a little over. Sorry about that, but when you're having fun, you can't help it. So, all right. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me and going through all of the watercolor month. I had so much fun with watercolor. I hope you did too. And I'll see you guys next Wednesday for something totally new. If you're in the Craft Menagerie and you're going to join me tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Love you guys. Bye.